Message LIVENODING. In this episode, I want to try this geometry nodes UV nodes. So let's do something with this default cube. Let's go to geometry nodes and let's check out the UV. So apparently we have UV Unwrap, and we also have UV pack UV islands. Okay, so these two seems to be related. So first of all, let's save this random UV. So normally, so by default, the default cube already have UV. So if I check it out, okay, it has this cross UV. So we want to maybe to be able to visualize that, we need to have a shader. I will create a, okay, it's already have material, so I will assign the material in here anyway, just in case. And then I will create an image, create a new image, and it's gonna be UV grid or color grid. Okay, color grid. It's gonna look, the color grid is looking like this. Plug this into the base color, and if we switch to cycles, we should be able to see the result based on this guy UV. Okay, so if we use UV Unwrap anyway, so I believe the way it works is just like we pass the UV outside and we need to somehow give it a name. Okay, so this is UV and I'm just gonna call it blah, and there's another output here. I'm just gonna call it blah 2. Okay, it's very bad name, but I think it will actually work. This is me trying to try the features into it, like using my intuitions. So okay, yeah, hopefully this actually works. The first one, it seems it's probably working. It's just yeah. Oh, I remember one thing. In order for this to work, we need to have some kind of selection or seam. So the UV Unwrap, I think, only works if the object is actually have like a cut, like a seam. That's something you can actually make a cut somewhere, but let's try just edge, split by edge, and make like a random cut. Okay, this might actually work. Okay, yeah, even though it's kind of stretched, you can see that something is happening. Okay, so definitely it's doing something, you know, like it's generating a seam on the fly because we are splitting the edge. When we split the edge of this cube, if we use like a smooth after, you can see it, there's like an opening. So that's actually really important. If we increase the probabilities, you know, it's splitting the whole things. Now we actually have this and this. If we actually do like a pack all the UV into once. Okay, I know it's really weird, but it seems to be working. So this is the like the UV stuff, UV Unwrap, and it's doing the packing. Of course, if it's just a single, just like a single box, like a default cube, it's not really interesting. So I'm gonna try just make like something really random, completely random. Let's try make something procedural, point to volume. If we use this geometry and point to volume and volume to mesh, what we're gonna get is, okay, points to volume will create like a sphere, and volume to mesh will convert it into balls, and then it's splitting every edge. This one is not exactly what I want. In this case, I want to use maybe mesh line. This will generate a lot of points, and I want to randomize the position, and I will create this points to volume. I will not split all the edge for now. So I make like a bunch of points. I will set the positions, and I will use random value vectors. Plug this into the position, and these points will generate some points. I think it seems to be calculating something. Well, okay. Okay, this still feels kind of heavy. Maybe I'll just reduce the voxel amount. So this seems to be random enough. Okay. With the smooth, okay, we have the smooth happening here, so we can kind of tell this UV unwrap is doing it on the fly. So normally in the past, in order for this to work, you want to apply everything here, convert the mesh, so it's applying all the modifier, but we lost the UV, and in order to get the UV back, we do like a F3. Oops, where's my F3? Okay, smart UV unwrap. So we have this kind of UV, and so yeah, this guy seems to be still using the information from the attribute, which is really weird. But if you undo that, it's using the UV from this guy, from the actual UV. So this information seems to be there, like hidden attributes. But this is the one that we just created, which is interesting. So we need to be able to bake this into this guy anyway, because of UV maps. It's not stored inside this data block by default. Anyhow, let's get back to this guy. It's a little bit confusing maybe. Okay, let me try to explain what's going on. So we have two possibilities. And we have this these objects with you know, it generates random things. Let's just pipe this outside into the seed. So now we actually have the ability to generate random objects with UV, sort of like the UV information is being generated on the fly, and we can perhaps do like a random cut like that. We can randomize the seed of this object, and we can use either this guy or this guy, the blah. The pack UV island doesn't seem to always work. Oh, okay, fill holes, maybe just turn this off. Fill holes, okay. Now it seems to be slightly more interesting. So we have some kind of UV happening. It's not too shabby. Look, we can duplicate this and then hold options and randomize the seed. Okay, so each one of them have automatic UV. I think if you want to export this into game engine, if you want to see the actual UV, this guy is still like a box. This is the original UV from the box. If we hit tab, if we actually bake it, if we convert it into mesh, it doesn't have the UV info. It has UV, it's not showing here. But it doesn't seem to be baked. So this is something to keep in mind. You might want to bake this properly. There must be another way to actually bake the UV from geometry nodes. Maybe it's still like work in progress, but yeah, so that's basically like a quick look at UV nodes inside geometry nodes, because I'm still using Blender 3.3 alpha, remember, and this is still recently being added. So there you go. So that's a quick examples where you can kind of use the UV nodes inside geometry nodes. So you need to have like a seam, so you need to split the edges somehow and then combine it back maybe after, but usually you need this to be able to have UV, and then you need to bake it maybe to the original objects before you split it. All right, so thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.